And hello and good morning, and good afternoon, good evening, good day. Hello, I'm David Boles, and this is Boles.tv. BOLES.tv. Ugly day here on the East Coast, New York City area. It's pouring rain, it's cloudy, but it is 55 degrees. So it's sort of warm, but not, but very wet. And it's a very bizarre feeling to be here in that kind of milieu. Because it's very humid, even inside. Even with the air conditioning on, the humidity is very high. So we had an interesting conversation, briefly, this morning with Jana Marie. And we are here, by the way, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And I had told her maybe, oh, there's Gordon. Brain Connection shirt, as I've decided to call it. I mean, it'll be a day full of smart discussion. Well, this is actually the Brain Dead shirt. That's the name of the brand, Brain Dead. Given to me by my lovely wife for my birthday. The shirt survives. The balloons are gone. Dead and gone. Now, I did want to check my bot, just to see if it's still working. So I'm going to use the Dave command. Nope, see, it still says Streamlabs. When I fired up Streamlabs to start the stream today, we have a bot called Streamlabs Bot that handles our chat and our exclamation point commands and our timers and all that. And then you can associate one of your user accounts with that bot, and that bot then takes over and becomes a branded bot, but behind it is the Streamlabs bot. And every once in a while, especially when you have to re-log in, Streamlabs forgets the name of your bot, and it just defaults back to Streamlabs bot, which is very disappointing. And we have a similar sort of setup on the delightful Discord server. And it's connected to the MeBot, which we discussed yesterday, where you can create, say, Streamlabs, you can still, create a custom bot using your bot name that you set up through Discord, and then Me6 takes over it and makes it not the Me6 bot or the Discord bot, but what we call the Boles bot. Now that doesn't seem so far to need to be reset often. As often as our Boles bot on Streamlabs. So the only way for me to reset that, really, is for me to log in to Streamlabs, and then log out of Streamlabs. And then wait 15 minutes, and then reconnect the moderator account. And when you go to get technical support from Streamlabs, they say, oh, just turn the bot off for 10 minutes, and then turn it back on. Everything will be fine. It's not fine. It's never fine. But I am going to go turn the bot off again. It's called CloudBot, and it's really quite lovely when it works. So as you know, we are streaming on Twitch right now. We used to stream on also Facebook and YouTube simultaneously, which I really loved. But then you become a Twitch affiliate, and they give you special perks, and they say, hey, by the way, if you want to keep streaming as an affiliate, you can only stream live on Twitch. You can stream on the other platforms, but not at the same time. So that's what we do. We stream live on Twitch. So I spend some time on Twitch seeing how other streamers do it. And oh, by the way, if you noticed or not, Gordon has a new, I guess they call it a badge. He not only has the moderator badge, he also has the artist badge. Now, what is the artist badge for? Well, if you design emotes or things, graphics for a live stream, you can thank that person by giving them that special badge. And I am thanking Gordon because he sends us links, he sends us photographs, he sends us pictures, he sends us information. So if you wonder, what is that thing by Gordon's name? In Twitch chat, you can see it. That is, as far as I can tell, an artist's palette. The old-fashioned artist's palette, where the thing and the paint is on the palette, and then there's a paintbrush, which is in the thing. And then Gordon paints our live stream with information and personality. So one of the streamers I follow is XQC because the guy routinely has 100,000 people. I shouldn't say people. Children. I could say cats. Maybe I should say cats. Because children are people too. Children are Soylent Green as well. Not a cat, not ever a cat. And they watch him for hours and hours, and he streams for hours and hours and hours, 12 hours, 15 hours at a time, the guy streams. And I guess there are hardcore fans who have watched him for many years and say Felix has changed. He has, I guess, a gambling problem where, I guess in a week he lost $1.8 million. The guy makes $8 million a year from streaming alone, so maybe he doesn't care. Then I read that somebody said that his uncle, his dad's brother, committed suicide because of a gambling problem, and his dad called him. "Ah, there's Gordon, Mr. Wow, painting." And his dad called him live on the air and said, "Felix, what are you doing? I hear you're losing all this money. I'm very worried about you." And Felix did not care. But he has now moved from Los Angeles to Canada, back to Canada, and is presently living in his brother's basement and streaming from his brother's basement. All that's interesting, all that's fine. And then the other day, he was doing a live stream where he was playing casino games. Roulette was one of them, but they were mainly I didn't even know what you call them. You pull down the lever. And people were talking offline and saying, well, look, this is a sponsored broadcast from this awful online casino. And he's clearly being paid for it because he did add it to his scene title, which I guess you're required to do by Twitch, even though you're XQC. And so he was playing and losing a lot of money. And we watched him for a little while, and he had 400,000, then he had 100,000, then he had 46,000. And I've never seen a person more miserable in my life than XQC playing these gambling games online. And I guess what people found so disgusting about it is that he was playing on a site that did not check verification of age and allows you to play with Bitcoin. And it seemed people are upset by that because that sort of implied that if you're young and a child and underage, they're not going to age check you on this website. If you happen to have Bitcoin, and probably some kids have a little bit, you can just go in there, link your wallet, and you can play like XQC and see if you can win at these slot machines. And people thought that was disgusting, that he was trying to really encourage this. And he was. And he lost and lost and lost. And it was really the most depressing, pathetic thing I've ever seen. And he's not even losing the money. But one thing that XQC does is very interesting. He has a very good relationship with his chat, even though he curses them out quite often. At the end of his show, when he plays his famous song, "I Hope You Enjoyed Your Stay," at the end, the song plays, and then he comes back and, "Oh, here's Mr. Gordon. Commissioner Gordon, if you will. On the plus side, the game maker didn't rig it, so that would show them winning to fool people into thinking the odds were good. Unlike some, say, YouTube folk that get deals with blind box sites. And, oh, wow, look, I got nice shoes. And then you sign up and get nonsense that's worthless for a lot of money." I agree with that. That's absolutely right. And it was interesting because Felix was playing, I think, with a couple of other people. And I think they were on a private Discord voice chat, so you can hear them, but you can't see them. But, because I guess they're on Discord, the people he was playing with could send videos and screenshots of what they were doing, because they were all playing the same casino games, but they're like 25 different slot machines, so they're all playing a different slot machine. And Felix was losing and losing and losing. One of the guys he was playing with sent him a video and said, "Hey, I hit a hot streak." And this guy had won $1.2 million. Now, we know that he's not playing with his own money. He's playing with casino money for this PR thing. But I believe if you win, you get to keep your money. Felix was so furious he couldn't even speak. He was so mad that he was losing, really losing, and his friend, who's not even a gambler, was winning all this money. At the end of his show, he plays the same song. And then when the song is over, he comes back and he does, things like this. I don't know what it is, or he waves. I mean, it's very sweet. And people stay around for the song. He says goodbye. He plays the song, he's off screen, and then the song's over. He usually comes back and he does a little thing silent without saying anything. And one of the interesting things that he does is this. And he puts it right up to the camera. Sometimes just two fingers. Boom. Show goes offline, he's done. And I'm trying to think, what is that? So after seeing it a few times, and then remembering later in my old age, I'm going to check on that, I checked on it. And I just did a quick little search, XQC finger thing. Hey, it's Gordon. And he'll be back in a day or two, and he'll have more ideas for you. Oh, see, Gordon knows. I didn't know that these are Korean arts. And so I looked it up, and the thing I saw was XQC, Asian finger hearts. This. And this is, in case you don't know, it's in the shape of a heart, which I will show you because I've done a little more research this time. And I showed this to Jana. I said, what do you think of this? And she said, no. She said, that's not sign language, that's not ASL. I said, I know, but it could still be fun. We could do it every once in a while, be our little secret or something. No. And then she kind of warmed up to it, and then she didn't, and then she did. But it's not sign language. And so today we were talking on Discord privately, and I sent her an animated cat heart thing. And then she said, oh, that animated anime cat is doing the finger thing. I said, what? And I looked at it closer with my bad eyesight. It is. The animated cat is doing that. That's interesting. So she says, well, I'm going to ask my friend Kathy what she thinks of it, if she's heard about it. And Gordon says that he'll have things for him to talk about. He likes you. That was me doing Mr. Rogers. My brother told me that if you say the words elephant shoes, your mouth makes the same shape as if you say, I love you. Elephant shoes, I love you. That's interesting. When I first started dating Jana Marie, one of her friends was an interpreter and a minister. And he said, lip reading is very difficult, tricky, because when you just, without vocalizing, say beer, it looks the same as milk. Beer, milk. It's the same. It's just the pronunciation is different. And so I ran that by the very young Jana Marie 34 years ago, and she looked at me like I was stupid. She said, that's not true. I don't know who told you that. Who told you that? I said, well, Kevin did. I said, Kevin's wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Kevin seemed very determined, but Jana was more determined, so I let it go. Although I've remembered it for now 35 years. So after that after that love exchange with Jana Marie this morning over the finger heart kitty, let me see if I can find it on my phone. I tried to find the animated version because it's very cute. I guess it's just a Discord only thing. I see myself. That's okay. But just if we can get the animated kitty. I think it's this one. I think it will show up. It's this one. Oh, it's very bright. Maybe here, I'll lower this. Make it darker. Maybe that'll work. Yeah. See, I know technology. And doing the little finger heart thing. It's the cutest thing you've ever seen. And I tried to save it. It won't let me save it. I tried to download it. Wouldn't let me download. I tried to make a copy of it, but it wasn't animated. Try to find it online, not animated. But what I found online is what I'm going to show you next. Now, what I want to know is how Gordon knows the Korean finger sign thing, because I guess this started in 2010, and I've completely missed the whole thing. Oh, Gordon is being an artist again, which is what we need. Oh, and I'm in the wrong screen. That's very cute, though, but I'll put it over here. Got my wrong browser up. I think to run this stream, I have 86 browser windows open at any time. One is for music, just by itself. The other is closed captions and Twitch by itself. The other is the 50 things we're going to talk about, and the other thing is just my main window so I can see my email. Oh, Gordon knows it from following K-pop groups that my kids also like. Yeah, see, we don't even know what K-pop is. It must be some kind of music. I don't know. 5 Seconds of Summer. I don't know what these things are anymore. All I know is Eric Clapton and Bo Diddley. This is what Gordon sent. Very cute. Now, see, I don't think they're doing it right, because it has to be close together to make the heart sign. That's not a heart shape. This, they need to be close together, and we practice it with Jan Marie. It's not just crossed fingers. It has to make the heart sign. Korean pop, Gordon says. And this is what I found, which is my favorite one. This is the first result when you look up Korean finger signs. They're doing it wrong, but you do your best and you forget the rest, they say. Yeah, why do something right when you can get away with doing it wrong? And that's perfect. I love that drawing. It's very darling, and it tells you what's going on from this website. Korea culture. So this is, and there's the whole story. Finger hearts have been a popular gesture in the Asian community, especially the Korean community. Created by crisscrossing the thumb and the index finger to make a mini heart. It is a more convenient and adorable alternative to big hand hearts. Well, that's this, I guess, which I really hate. People do this, it makes my blood boil. Because it's not sign language. They think they're using sign language. They're being cute, ugly. This is cute. This, very ugly. Jana Marie, of course, who's the expert on everything, by default, doesn't mind. Everything's fine with her. And I'm laughing at myself, not at her. It is more convenient and adorable alternative to big hand hearts, used to convey one's love to their loved ones. Popularized by K-idols in recent years, the finger heart has become one of Korea's biggest cultural exports. And with the popularity of Korean culture around the world, it has found a place in everyone's heart, including Commissioner Gordon. Korean artists, public figures, and even Hollywood celebrities, everyone seems to be using the hand gesture. But what does the finger heart denote? I almost said detonate. And when did this trend start? Well, you can find out more from Wikipedia. They also have an example not as beautiful as the Korean example, but I accept it. The finger heart gesture is a trend that was popularized in South Korea in the 2010s. And has found a nice assortment of GIF files, which we will look at next. And I have found my own files, but they are not going to be as nice as Gordon's, I guarantee you that. Now, see, she's still not doing it right. That is not a heart. That is crossed fingers. XQC does it right. I give him full credit. He makes it very tiny, and he puts it right up to the camera. And they're definitely hearts. I don't see the heart, but now that I know what it is, I look for it. This also, I'm sorry to say, I would call a violation. That is not a heart. It's crossing your fingers. Sloppy. What did Gordon say? Fake it till you make it. Here's another one. I like this, but I like this better. And this is the discovery page of Cathay Pacific, which is very interesting. First the V sign, now finger hearts. Barbara Chan looks at the origins of posing for photos in Asia and how K-pop popularized the Korean heart sign. And all that meow meow. Here's what the artist known as Gordon sent us. Finger hearts from Jiffy Cat. Now this is a very small screen because we are a very small streamer. And here we are with hearts coming out. Okay. That's not right. Violation. This one's better. Cute. Very cute. That's cute one. That one I can't see. I am new to Jiffy Cat. Here we go. What is she going to say? Oh, no. It can't be sideways. It can't be this way. That's not a heart. Sorry. Violation. That looks like FU to me. Not good. This? No. Corny. No. 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 Look, now come on now. That's not even trying. That's not a heart. Come on now. Cute though. Here are static images of the finger heart. Now this guy is doing it silly, but the position's right, but he has the hand position for you to see it wrong. And when Jan was figuring this out, like this, it's like, you got to turn it this way. It's not this way. Not a love to yourself, love out. And she still sometimes struggles to do it the right way. This? That's a V. That's closer. Closer, but the hand is twisted the wrong way. The heart is out to the people. The thumb has to be out. The thumb has to be pointing at the person, or it's not a heart. That's not a heart. Cute stuff, though. Learn something new every day. What are you going to do? Oh my goodness, it's almost time to take a break. I've gone off the rails this morning with my new artist friend, Gordon. And now we're going to take a very brief break. Back in a moment. And we're back from break. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. I'm David Boles. We are here, live, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, the weather sort of stopped raining, sort of. It's still gray and ugly. But at least it's not wet anymore, which is a good thing. Well, we had some fun with the K-popery, Asian finger hearts. And now we're going into a different sort of mockery. I didn't want to say fun because there's nothing fun about this guy. Now, George W. Bush, as our president, was always sort of a lovable buffoon. Dick Cheney was his vice president. It was very well known, inside and outside of Washington, D.C., that this gentleman here, not very bright. Some say he set the standard for the dummy presidency that brought us Donald Trump. You didn't have to be smart. You didn't have to really know anything. You just had to sit there and look pretty. And dummy and being low intelligence, and dummy with the double meaning of being controlled like a puppet. And Dick Cheney made all the major decisions. For 8 years, we were run by Dick Cheney and his shadow presidency. And G.W. Bush knew it and would be upset, and people would ask him about it. And he would say, "I'm the decider." Like a child. "I'm the decider. Nobody else but me. I decide." And so I guess yesterday he was giving this speech. I don't even want to play it. But he talked about Putin's ridiculous foray into Ukraine, and then he condemned himself through a slip of the tongue by saying, "Well, I did the same thing in Iraq." Bush condemns Putin's invasion of Iraq instead of Ukraine. Former President George W. Bush, the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. I mean Ukraine. I'm the decider. And then he tries to laugh it off by saying, "Oh, I'm 75 years old. Joe Biden is 105 years old." And boy, if Joe Biden made that flub, boy, the whole world would come down on him from Fox News. And the Bushes, they don't like Donald Trump. But this was when the standard was set in the Supreme Court. Oh, what a surprise. Gave the 2000 election to this guy instead of Al Gore. And what a different country, what a different world we would be in if this had only been a one-term president. And now we have the same threat with a packed Supreme Court waiting for the return of the second dummy, some say, in 2024. And the most telling thing was Barbara Bush, who was interesting and a matriarch, had Graves' disease. And she was asked about this, the bumbling son, the son they always had to get out of trouble, the son who drank too much, the son who became president. And she said in an interview one time, Barbara Bush, the mother of this man, said the wrong son became president. His own mother did not support his presidency. Who knows him better than his own mother? And she meant, of course, Jeb Bush, who at that time I believe was governor of Florida, and a good and kind person. I mean, imagine if we had Jeb Bush instead of Donald Trump, because they ran against each other. And Trump just demolished him with cruelty and mocking and lies. And Jeb Bush was too good a man to go down to that level. When they go low, we go high. And how did that work out? He just let it go. Jeb Bush, famous saying, "Please clap when he would say something at a campaign rally that nobody cared to hear. They're all enamored with the antics of Donald Trump. Really, really disappointing. And the Bush thing wasn't just that flub, but it began way back when. During the war. The whole reason we went into Iraq was because they had weapons of mass destruction. And he did this whole performative searching for the weapons of mass destruction in the Oval Office. Laughing, thinking he's funny. Dummy in chief. This was one of the most offensive things that ever happened in the White House. George W. Bush playfully searching for weapons of mass destruction in the Oval Office. In 2004, as Iraq was going bad, they made light of the biggest mistake ever, which then comes back to haunt him here. The decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. I mean Ukraine. He's the decider. Oof. Now here's some good political news. My superstar is John Fetterman. Yes, he had a stroke. Yes, he's getting a pacemaker. Yes, he has AFib. Yes, he's 6'8". Yes, he wears hoodies. He doesn't wear ties. Yes, to all of that, he's a Democrat. And he has a goatee and he has a bald head. And you always get that sense of danger from John Fetterman. Always a big teddy bear. Don't be so sure. I've seen him take on the GOP, and he does not hold back a swing. Commissioner Gordon says during the 1988 presidential race, comic artist Gary Trudeau depicted candidate Michael Dukakis as a shapeless pile of mud due to how much mud was slung against him and how little he did in response. Absolutely right. And Mike Dukakis was a heck of a nice guy. I mean, I've even kind of turned around on Mitt Romney, who I thought was disgusting for what he did to his dog when they moved. But I think, boy, Mitt Romney at least has a soul and a heart, and he would have been a much better president than Donald Trump. But what are you going to do? The people don't want that. The people want this. They want the sideshow. They want drama because their lives are so boring and insignificant. And they always said about great actors, especially Marlon Brando, is that just when they're not doing anything, where they're just standing on stage, on screen, but especially live in person, that there's a sense of danger about them. You don't know where you stand. Are they going to hug you or are they going to push you off a cliff? It's that not knowing that creates great danger. And that's the vibe that you get from John Fetterman. He has a danger about him that is, I believe, going to be very appealing to Democrats and middle-of-the-road Republicans because he's just talking common sense. So this was sort of a love piece that they did on John Fetterman in The Atlantic that was sent to me in email. I couldn't find it online. It was like an email thing only. The votes haven't even been counted in Pennsylvania, but the term Fettermentum is sweeping the commentariat. Yesterday, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, the scrappy former mayor of a Rust Belt town, routed well-mannered, moderate Representative Connor Lamb in the Democratic primary for your U.S. Senate. And now the race is on to figure out what it means. Many Democrats are pinning their hopes on Fetterman and future candidates in his mold to bring blue-collar voters back to the party. And not just blue-collar voters, but blue-collar voters with sledgehammers and tire irons and clenched fists who are not going to take it anymore. The buzz around him, Fetterman, reveals a party bereft of a national identity. Yes. A clear message or an obvious successor to President Joe Biden. Yes. In the guise of John Fetterman. If there's one thing most people seem to agree about, it is the appeal of Fetterman's vibes. As this artist wrote last night, the attraction for many voters is not Fetterman's actual policy platform, but his persona. True! Looking around, sounding like a Yinzer roughneck is handy when many of the voters you need to win do too, especially when you're relatively a left-wing candidate. David Leonhardt of the New York Times agrees. He sees Fetterman as a peer to Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio and New York Mayor Eric Adams, politicians whose images eclipse their positions. The centrist pundit Mike Iglesias takes, or I believe he takes, issue with this analysis. Fetterman does the stuff moderates say politicians should, pro-fracking, pro-Title 42, Iglesias argued in a since-deleted tweet. Progressives just decided to like him anyway, rather than demand he take unpopular stance. Some of Fetterman's positions do defy the Democrat Party's left-wing orthodoxy. That's okay. But he's still to the left of Conor Lamb, largely in line with Bernie Sanders of 2016. And anyway, progressives just decided to like him is another way of saying they're susceptible to vibes too. Drawing broader conclusions about the meaning of Fetterman's win is premature. He still has a tough general election ahead of him in a closely divided state in a perilous cycle for Democrats. But we might be able to pinpoint what Fetterman's win doesn't mean. Politics often operates like a cargo cult. Instead of examining the deeper reasons someone wins, candidates who follow try to replicate them on a gestural level. After Barack Obama's victory in 2008, younger Democrats imitated him, even adopting the distinctive cadences of his oratory. Looking at you, people you judge, and Julian Castro. It mostly hasn't worked. By the same token, many of Donald Trump's most slavish imitators have fallen short, such as Representative Madison Cawthorn of North Carolina, who lost his primary battle. I find Fetterman to be notable because Democrats have nominated so few candidates like him in recent years. Yes. What does it even mean to be like Fetterman, though? His appeal is that he is sui generis, which also makes him an unlikely role model. Rather than search for candidates like Fetterman, Democrats might be better served to look for candidates unlike him or anyone else. That, I don't know. What is that? That's just a bunch of hooey. Because what we need are people like John Fetterman. And that doesn't mean they have to be 6'8" and bald, but that means they have to be tough and not take the lies and the guff from people who lie against them and lie against our nation. That's not that hard, but there are a few people who do it. Bernie Sanders does it. AOC does it. Chuck Schumer does not do it. Nancy Pelosi does not do it. Liz Cheney tends to do it. And she's been tough on both sides. But when you go to her, you know you're going to get the truth. Unlike her father. And as I was thinking about Fetterman and politics, I was awakened early this morning with the thought of this. Where are the log cabin Republicans in all of this? They were really big for a while, and then Trump arrived, and they seem to have gone quiet. Some who are perhaps tackier might say they've gone back into the closet. Because the log cabin Republicans are a group of men and women who happen to be gay and who happen to be Republican. And they were, at one time, very strong about opening up the republic of the Republicans to include all kinds of people, including gay and lesbian, transgender. Bring them all in. They can be Republicans, too. It was an interesting attack. And now they really aren't there anymore. They used to say, let's go back to the time of Abe Lincoln and his values and how we stood for democracy and we freed the slaves. Let's go back to log cabin values. Even though we happen to be gay and lesbian and you don't like us anymore. So I went to their website and just kind of looked around. Okay, log cabin Republicans, they have a PAC. They have chapters in every state you can join. Okay. Do you want to give money? Of course, that's what they're looking for. Get involved. I did a news search. There isn't a lot of news. They're not making news, probably by choice, because Trumpism and the Trump don't want them around. Gordon says, Malka, his lovely daughter, just gave me a funny riddle that seems apropos. I have 3 heads, 7 arms, 2 stomachs, and 8 legs. What am I? Well, it has to be the Republican Party. If we're on topic. If I'm right, let me know in chat. Or it could be a house full of kittens. The answer is a liar. 3 heads, 7 arms, 2 stomachs, and 8 legs. What am I? A liar. Very cute. Almost too smart for the room. But acceptable because Gordon is in the room and it is Gordon's daughter, so. She has lifted the intelligence of the live stream with a single riddle. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Finally, all the way at the bottom of the page, by the contact us and by the social media links, we finally get a link to something that might be interesting. Overturning Roe versus Wade doesn't mean an end to gay marriage. Here's why. Now, why isn't that right up at the very top? We know why. Shh, be quiet, don't talk about it. Overturning Roe v. Wade. This is not even the log cabin site anymore. Now we're out at getoutspoken.com. Facts and logic don't play a role in the progressive fear-mongering machine. So this is written, obviously, from a conservative point of view. And they talk about a leaked thing from Alito. Such facts and logic play no role in the world of fear-mongering progressives and their media machine. Emotional fires have been stoked, even before a final decision on the issue of abortion is issued, with LGBT activists screaming the loudest that this is one step in the direction of overturning Oberfeld versus Hodges, the Supreme case that codified gay marriage as a settled legal precedent. See, they're really stuck because what are these log cabin Republicans going to do? We're Republicans, we're out, we're proud. Uh-oh. Now they're coming for us. They're going to take away gay marriage. Uh-oh. Well, they can't. They won't dare. Many are wondering what this decision means for more recent victories won in the courts for LGBTQ plus people. I understand that feeling. I feel it too. If Roe is overturned, there is no immediate impact. Immediate. Give them a chance. They're coming for you. On any other case decided by the Supreme Court, including Lawrence and Oberfeld. But it encourages state lawmakers, pandering to the base, to test the limits of court-recognized equality. Not going to be a good thing. How is the log cabin Republicans going to come out of this? And then it gets weird. There's good reason for Justice Alito to make this point in his writing of the court's opinion. The legal principle of stare decisis dictates that courts should follow precedent in cases that are factually and logistically similar. Well, no Republican, hardcore Republican, thinks gay marriage is factual or logical. In plainly stating that the justices view cases involving marital rights as inherently different from cases dealing with abortion shows that stare decisis does not apply here, and the anxieties driven by LGBT activists are completely unfounded and not based in reality. Come on now. Commissioner Gordon says, I wonder how our ally, Cyndi Lauper, feels about log cabin Republicans. I don't know. They were this big thing. They were interesting. And then Trump appeared and they just went silent. Furthermore, Justice Amy Coney Barrett has referred to super presidents in the past, one of which was abortion rights. This is the idea that some cases have set so much of a foundation of our society that overturning them would be an overall negative in the long run. Since Obergefell granted the right of same-sex couple to marriage, there have been 7 years of marriages performed, plus untold number of adoptions and birth to same-sex couples. Let's see. Abortion was legal in the United States for 50 years. Coney Barrett referred to that as a super president, which she is now prepared to overturn. While gay marriage has been around for 7 whole years, and they don't think Amy Coney Barrett's going to touch it. And I laugh for crying because you know what's coming. And I wish that they were being a little more proactive and demanding and not just sitting back like a weak Democrat and saying, well, let's see what happens. They shouldn't do it, so they won't. They said they wouldn't, so we believe them. And now it's time to take a very brief blood pressure break. We shall return in a moment. And we're back live here on Boles.tv. BeAWillyAss.tv. Hey, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And then on the weekends, it's a free-for-all. Jen and Marie. Friends, students, bots, 11 a.m. Eastern. Sign language, learning, chatting, sharing pictures, telling stories. It's a madhouse. Hey, it's fun. So I do sort of admire the log cabin Republicans who are trying to hope against fate that the gay marriage isn't going to be taken away from them. And I think it will be hard to do, but it very easily could be done, but they'll probably somehow figure out a way to say that grandfather and if you've been married, that stands, but moving forward, no more of that. And I believe that is going to be their intention. Well, this showed up in my mail the other day from the post office when I get my daily injection of, hey, this is what's coming into your mailbox today. Informed delivery is what it's called. And there's a little postcard in my email saying, hey, click this and go there. You can now get a third round of free at-home COVID-19 tests by going to covid.gov. Tests. I'll put the link in chat. And I tried maybe 3 weeks ago to get more tests because we didn't get our second round of tests. So I tried to do the second round of tests under Jana's name, and they said, you already have your second test. And there's nobody you can talk to that will help you. So this one now is you can get 8 tests, as I understand it, in this third round, and they will send you 4 tests in 2 packages. So you say, yes, send me this. They say, okay. You get 4 tests in 2 packages. I don't know why they can't put 8 tests in 1 package, but maybe it doesn't fit in the mailbox. That could be because they're very small packages, which I think is very smart. So I'll take them. I'm just hoping that they will arrive today. This is a rapid antigen test, not PCR. You can take it anywhere. You have results in 30 minutes. You don't have to use a lab. But also, I hear that these at-home tests aren't really like enough to clear you to go back to work, which I think was interesting. Speaking of interesting, there may be trouble on the horizon for the Davidescu household. Don't say it too loud because there are cats in the room. This is from Stanford University. The teen brain, excuse me, tunes in less to mom's voice and more to unfamiliar voices. Unfamiliar voices you might have live streaming into your apartment. Send me Bitcoin. Remember when Soupy Sales got in trouble? His children's TV show. Send me $1. Go to your mommy's purse, take out $1 and send it to me. I'm Soupy Sales. Big joke, got in big trouble. Gordon says, I guess we'll have to get voice modulators. Very smart. We have a voice modulator on this live stream, but it's very hard to set up. I can't figure it out. I can figure it out, but it takes 10 minutes to set up and 10 minutes to take off. Because Windows 11 is just that way. At around age 13, well, but Davidescu cats might be safe now for another couple of years. I don't know. They could be early formers. Around age 13, kids' brains shift from focusing on their mother's voices to favor new voices, maybe dad's voice. I don't know. Part of the biological signal driving teens, to separate, divide and conquer from their parents. Stanford Medicine says, when your teenagers don't seem to hear you, it's not simply that they don't want to clean their room or finish their homework, their brains aren't registering your voice the way they did in pre-teenage years. You give birth to your own torturers. At around age 13, kids' brains no longer find their mom's voices uniquely rewarding, and they tune into unfamiliar voices more. The research, which was published April 28, Journal of Neuroscience, used functional MRI scans to give the first detailed neurobiological explanation for how teens begin to separate from their parents. Just as an infant knows to tune into her mother's voice, an adolescent knows to tune into novel voices. As a teen, you don't know you're going to do this. You're just being you. I hope the David Esker children are taking notes on this. Mom, it's not you. I don't even know I'm doing this. It's all subconscious. I'm just being me, Mom. You've got your friends and new companions, and you want to spend time with them. Mom, you're out. You're taken off of my chat circle. Your mind is increasingly sensitive to and attached to unfamiliar voices, which sounds like stranger danger to me, but I don't know anything. I only have cats. In some ways, teens' brains are more receptive. Oh, no, what'd I do? Where did it go? Uh-oh, I lost the whole story. Oh, I lost the whole thing. Here we go. This doesn't want to let me highlight for some reason. In some ways, teens' brains are more receptive to all voices, including their mothers, than the brains of children under 12. The researchers discovered a finding that lines up with teenagers' increased interest in many types of social signals. So that's good. However, in teenage brains, the reward circuits and the brain centers that prioritize important stimuli are more activated by unfamiliar voices than by those of their mothers. The brain shift toward new voices is an aspect of healthy maturation. So if you're a mother, change your voice. Hey, it's not your mom. Why don't you come over and have some ice cream? And clean your room while you're at it. A child becomes independent at some point, and that has to be precipitated by an underlying biological signal. That's what we've uncovered. This is a signal that helps teens engage with the world and form connections which allow them to be socially adept outside their families. The mother's voice is the sound source that teaches young kids all about the social, emotional world and language development. Fetuses in utero. I think Nirvana wrote an album about this. Can recognize their mother's voice before they're born. Yet with adolescents, even though they've spent more time with this sound source than babies have, their brains are turning away in favor of voices they've never heard before. I already know what you're going to say. Don't even say it, mother. I've heard it in utero, and I'm tired of it. The researchers recorded the teens' mothers saying 3 nonsense words, which lasted just under a second. Using nonsense words ensured that the participants would not respond to the word's meaning or emotional content. 2 women unfamiliar with the study subjects were recorded saying the same nonsense words. Each teenage participant listened to several repetitions of the nonsense word recordings by their own mother, and the unfamiliar women presented in random order and identified when they heard their mom. Just like younger children, teens correctly identified their mother's voices more than 97% of the time. The teens were then placed in a magnetic resonance imaging scanner where they listened again to the voice recordings. They also listened to brief recordings of household sounds, such as a dishwasher running, to allow the researchers to see how the brain responded to voices versus other non-social sounds. Voices are what can I... And this, I'm halfway done with this article. And it's fabulous. I'm putting the link in chat in case there are any David Escu children who want to go read it. And use it as a defense. I didn't hear you because I didn't want to. Okay? I'm going outside and you can't make me. Oh, boy. But they didn't talk about Dad. I think that's unfair. Dads deserve being ignored as well. Especially cat dads. Well, Ringling Brothers is coming back. And all I want to say is why? We got rid of them. They had a terrible brand. Hurting animals, hurting elephants, hurting tigers, lions. And now they're coming back as, I guess, Cirque du Soleil. But they're calling themselves Ringling Brothers. Barnum and Bailey Circus. The greatest show on earth is making a comeback. Oh! Gordon saying, I hope they learned from their awful mistakes. Are you talking about your children? I don't think they're the age of their ignoring yet. We'll see if they've learned from their mistakes. The greatest show on earth is making a comeback, featuring extraordinary humans. And no animal acts. That's good. 5 years after shutting down its three-ring circus, Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey announced on Wednesday. Now, people who know Barnum and Bailey Circus, Ringling Brothers, they're expecting animals. They're going to go there, no animals. Dad, you said there would be lions. And I know Mom said the same thing, but I'm ignoring her for strange new voices. Talent teams have already conducted auditions in Argentina, Mongolia, Ethiopia, France, and the United States, with more than 1,000 performers applying to join a 50-city North American tour starting in September 2023. Wow, that's a long way away. And international dates to follow. For us, Ringling is about bringing the world's talents to people's hometowns, the chief operating officer said. We are entertainment for everyone, and it's important that everyone who comes to the show finds something and someone that they can really count on and connect to. The company heard from many fans after ending its 146-year run 5 years ago, following intense criticism over its use of circus animals, which was well-deserved. And they have considered their comments while reimagining how to keep the franchise fresh and alive. Well, people are writing to you to say they want the animals back. They're not looking for acrobats. But hey, maybe they'll make it. In the new production, audiences will become co-collaborators with the performers, bringing them closer to the action and creating a different experience each show. That seems complex and very complicated to me, and not really something that's going to be possible, because you can't be totally random, you can't be unrehearsed. Improv. All young acting students in their first semester of acting, let's do improv, because they don't want rules, they don't want to follow a script, they don't want to follow what a director says, they don't want to listen to the instructor. They're all over the age of 13, and they're no longer interested in what strange voices are saying. Back to their mothers. And you have to explain to them, look, improv is very sophisticated, very complex, and you have to be a really well-rounded performer to effectively improv, because you're completely on your own. Without a net. You're on a high wire without a net. Ringling Brothers. That's what improv is. It's just like ASL students who take 4 semesters of ASL, finish level 4. I'm an interpreter now. And some of them think that way. And that means they're not really paying attention in class because they know they're not ready for that. But the outside world thinks, oh, you've trained in ASL, you're level 4. You don't have to go to an interpreter training program. You're a student interpreter, and we'll pay you, instead of $80 an hour that we pay a certified interpreter, we'll pay you $20 an hour because you took level 4. Our performers dedicate their lives to doing oftentimes risky, very technical, challenging, and athletic performances. It sounds like Cirque du Soleil. And they do it because they are passionate about it. And we want our audience to know more about them to understand how they trained. Okay, it's interesting. I'm concerned it's not going to work. Now, as we know, we're going through a bit of a, I don't want to say crash, let's say an Ethereum correction. Over the past 5 days, Bitcoin and Ethereum are down 4% and 2%. Not great, not terrible. It's just all part of a swinging pattern. Now, if you go to the 5-year max, Ethereum is up over 1,000%, and Bitcoin is up over 1,000%. So it's just time and tide. Very low, 2020, higher in 21. The 5-day average, a little sad. 1-day average, going up. So it all depends on context. What filter are you using to get your information? Are you happy or sad? Well, let me go from 1 month to 1 day. Oh my gosh, look, it's up. Oh no, it's down 36%. Oh no, it's up. It's up 5%. Don't get tied into it. It will all work out. But this article is really good. In the New York Times. All those celebrities pushing crypto are not so vocal now. Crypto boosters such as Matt Damon, Reese Witherspoon, and Gwyneth Paltrow have been criticized for hyping virtual currency without highlighting the risks. And the weirdest thing was to see Matt Damon, I think during the Super Bowl, walking through space and time, using his reputation and his good name to sell a company to us. It's like, what are you doing? I found that to be really tacky. In the latest commercial from the virtual currency exchange Crypto.com, titled Bravery is a Process, the star basketball player Joel Embiid walks through Philadelphia while Bill Self, his former college coach, lends the narration. Even when our path didn't make sense to everyone else, we kept going, Mr. Self said, Dad. We kept going, young Padawan, until our path is the only one they wish they'd taken. Like a Star Wars horror movie. Enthusiasm for crypto from Hollywood celebrities and top athletes reached a fever pitch last year. On social media, during interviews, and even in music videos, they portrayed virtual currency as a world with its own hepcat culture and philosophy. One that was more inclusive than traditional finance, that involved the chance to make loads of money. Now, all of that is pretty much true. Making the loads of money part, I don't agree with. But it is going to be the future. The blockchain is the future. There's no way around that. The Super Bowl ad was nicknamed the Crypto Bowl this year because so many ads, which costed as much as $7 million for 30 seconds, featured the industry, several of them starring bold-faced names. There's Matt Damon, ruining his good name by going to Crypto.com. There's a major chess teacher on YouTube, makes millions of dollars a year from his videos, who now, as part of his videos, has a giant Crypto.com sign in the background and talks about crypto. And his hardcore fans will say, why is he ruining his reputation by standing up for this junk? What the heck does Crypto.com have to do with teaching me chess? People think people are dumb, but people are not dumb. They know exactly what you're doing probably before you even do it. Those who promote crypto should be more upfront about their downsides. Reese Witherspoon, an Oscar winner who declared online in December that crypto is here to stay, which is true. respond to requests for comment. Well, that's a mistake. She should. Look, this is a correction. Life goes up and down, so does crypto. It's not a big deal. Neither did Gwyneth Paltrow, another Oscar winner who lent her name to a Bitcoin giveaway last year. Paris Hilton, who has nearly 17 million followers on Twitter and who watched her coup over her laptop's crypto and ether, didn't respond to requests for comment. She should. See, these are all, they're uneducated and they're just paid. Stand up, walk over there, don't improvise, say this line, come back, sit down. Well, what do you really think? Let me talk to my PR people so they can write a response for me. Neither did several other famous crypto pushers, such as Mila Kunis, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady. Although Mr. Brady and Mr. Rogers' profiles on Twitter still feature laser eyes, a popular symbol of Bitcoin bullishness. A representative for Naomi Osaka, the tennis star became an ambassador for the crypto exchange FTX this year, wrote an email that she sadly is overseas and not available. I can't talk to you about that. Crypto what? Come again? Are you my mother? I can't hear you. In FTX's Super Bowl commercial, the comedian Larry David denigrated important inventions such as the wheel and light bulb before rejecting crypto. The ad winkingly urged viewers, "Don't be like Larry." And now it's all crashing down and they're all worried about it. And a very good actor friend of mine, Jim, made one of those crypto commercials. He was playing Thomas Edison sitting at a bar. I thought it was great. Now people will turn around, find Jim on the street, say, "Jimmy, why did you make that commercial? They paid you a lot of money to pretend to be Thomas Edison and be in support of crypto." And Jim would say, "Thank you very much. I'm going to the bank now to cash my check." Which is the right answer. And now we're taking one more blood pressure break. Back in a moment. And we're back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv. I did not use my intermission screen, so I'm a little bit upset with that. So here's my intermission screen. Yum, 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 yum. Now we're back from break in the transition. Boles.tv. For the live stream, Boles.live for video on demand on YouTube, if you are not a Twitch subscriber. And we are here Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Mostly live. Some of it might be half asleep. And then on the weekends, January, wide awake, 11 a.m. Eastern, Saturdays and Sundays. I was just checking the Me 6 bot place. Yesterday was just message after message trying to figure out what was going on, and the leak wasn't their leak, but then it was their leak, and now they don't know what to do, and they're supposed to be dropping avatars today, was promised. Months promised that today was the day. Now they're saying after that blow up yesterday, well, I don't know if they're going to drop it today because they're trying to figure out what to do. They have more important things to do than doing avatars. They're trying to secure the servers. Oh, it's just a big mess. But for me, it's part of it. Everybody gets hacked. Big companies, little companies. You try to be very careful, very cautious. Use login keys, lock everything down, and then, somebody from the outside finds a hook in to a way that bypasses passwords and security keys and the two-factor authentication. What are you going to do? Can't do anything about it. They figured it out. The cruel and evil minds figured out how to beat you at your own game. Now, as you may know, I have a small history with some skin cancer, and you can see they're white scars, but when I put the light on them, just like this, they look like ugly indentations, which I've never really noticed before until now. But in bright light, in sunlight, they are white scars, which my doctor loves. He says, oh, the white scar is what you want. I want to make a tattoo out of them, like color them in and then connect them somehow like planets or stars. I don't know. I'm waiting for approval. But then you cover them up and then they can't really see what was underneath there, so if you have a problem in the future, it's like, why did you put this tattoo where you had skin cancer? And so there 5 things have been cut off of me, and they all came back. Meow. Not good, but they're off, they're done, they're gone. And there have been other things that have been cut off me that are fine. Some are cut. All are cut, some are burned. The cuts, the biopsy, the burn is the burn to get rid of it. I don't know why they just don't cut it out of you instead of just scraping it to take a sample. I guess it depends how you're trained and where you're coming from. And so then every month I go in for a blue light special, I call it, which is a blue light, probably 12 fluorescent blue lights that are wrapped around your face like this, and you sit there for 9 minutes, and it's like sitting under a sun lamp, which I guess is sort of what it is, but without the damaging rays. And it's some kind of UV rays or some kind of rays that go into your skin and are supposed to stop, not cure, but kind of stop the progression of skin cancer. And they only do it for me on my face, and for everybody else I've met in that office on their face. And insurance companies appear to pay for it, which means it has to be established technology that works, or they don't want to pay for anything. So the fact they pay for the blue light special is kind of cool. So when this pops up from The Guardian again, hey, a ban on solariums in England would save hundreds of lives from skin cancer. Now, I guess in England, a solarium is what we call in the United States a tanning bed. Now, that makes complete sense to me because I know these tanning beds are not safe. I've been warned against them. They tan you from the top and the bottom, as they say. And they're not really filtering out the bad light because it's the bad light that gives you the tan by burning you. That is what a tan is. It's a slight burn to the body. And some people tan better and some people just burn. Public health official researchers who were instrumental in solariums being banned in Australia are now helping to fight for a ban in the UK to reduce the number of skin cancer cases. Hey, I support it. Research from Gordon and her colleagues found that 281 melanomas, 43 deaths, and 2,500 squamous cell carcinomas were attributable to solarium use in Australia each year, at a cost to the health system of around AU 3 mil. Oof. It's estimated the ban led to 31,000 melanomas being averted in young Australians over the remaining lives. Here's a Gordon whose emails I never get. Well, maybe we can change that. Frustrated by a lack of progress, Dr. Martin Eden, formerly from the University of Manchester, spent several months in Australia working with Gordon and her colleagues to understand how they assess the costs and human harms associated with solariums in Australia. They then applied that modeling to England, tracking the projected impact of a solarium ban on more than 600,000 18-year-olds living there. A solarium ban would also result in 3,900 fewer cases of more common types of skin cancer. We have all the evidence, the calculations and strategies that we used while making the model to inform the health and economic rise for the ban in Australia. Now, good luck trying to get that in the United States. My freedom. If I want to die from skin cancer, it's my choice. Government, get out of my pores. You can't escape the sun. You can't escape light. It's there. How do you manage it? Well, this is an interesting article from Physics World. Far UVC light traps airborne pathogens in realistic conditions, meaning that this is very good news. Ultraviolet C light can reduce the level of airborne microbes in a room by more than 92%. Now, that's just delicious. I would like to have one right now in my room. I would like to have one in each room. I think Vladimir Putin has one because he sits by it at the end of a long table. According to a new study by researchers in the UK and the US, the results suggest that lamps operating at this wavelength, ultraviolet C, could be used to combat common airborne viruses, including SARS-CoV-2, and preventing the transmission of diseases like COVID-19. Love it. Sign me up. That UV exposure I will take. I would like to have it. While ordinary UVC light is very effective at destroying microbes like bacteria and viruses, it is hazardous, for humans because it can damage your skin and eyes. A decade ago, researchers at Columbia University in the city of New York discovered that a different wavelength of UVC light, known as far UVC light, would be just as effective at killing germs, but without the safety concerns. Yay! This is because at 222 nm, its wavelength is too short to penetrate human skin or eye cells. Very good. These early tests of the technology were, however, conducted in small experimental chambers rather than room-sized ones that better reflect real-world human environments. I don't care. I'll take it. I'll take 2. And just finally, because I've been saving this, subscriber only. I am a subscriber, thank you. How Elon Musk could recut his Twitter buyout. I find the whole thing just fascinating. And you're reading today, and it says, oh, Elon called Jack Dorsey, the founder and inventor of Twitter, after he bought his 9% stake. And they had a conversation the week he was to go on the board. And it seems that Jack Dorsey convinced him, oh, no, take Twitter private. So don't go on the board, just buy the whole darn thing. And then put me back as CEO. And that looks like what Elon did. and what he wants to do. And now Jack Dorsey says, oh, Donald Trump should be back on Twitter. It wasn't meant to be a permanent ban. What did you think? We're not beasts. We're not Republicans. We're Democrats. We want people to have access. Elon Musk said he won't proceed with his takeover of Twitter unless it can prove that spam bots make up fewer than 5% of its users. A few hours later, a Bloomberg survey showed that most investors and merger specialists think he's trying to create a stir that might help him finagle a lower price for Twitter. And I believe Twitter has now responded saying, we're not lowering our price. You don't want it, get out. And then they talk about other examples, how there was a big offer made to buy Tiffany, and they wanted to get out of it, and then they were suing and countersuing, and finally both sides settled a month later and cut the price of the deal by $425 million. Now that's a lot of rings. So this is the steps that these trolls follow when they try to get out of a deal that they offered. They threaten to walk away. They argue the business you bought has changed. They use the courts to fight the other company and get countersued. Then they reach an agreement. Meow, meow. So far, Musk has only done the first two steps. See, it's all a game. It's all a production, a pre-written script. And meanwhile, people worry about their jobs. Twitter's board has recommended shareholders approve his bid. Talks about the deal started with Musk, Jack Dorsey, and Egon Durbin. The deal's $13 billion debt is looking like a bigger burden by the day. So is Elon going to rule Twitter? Or is he going to walk away? People smarter than me said this is all a staged game. He's already started the walk away. So I guess we'll find out soon if he's going to be around or if he's going to be totally out. Well, we had a wonderful day. I thank you for being here and joining in the analysis of the human condition that confounds and confronts us every day of our lives. I wish you a good rest of the day, a good evening, and a nice nap. And when and if you decide to go into deep slumber, may you awaken with joy in your soul and a song emanating from your toes. If you want to find me, you can email me, David, at Boles.tv. You can email Jana Marie at Jana@Boles.tv. On Twitter, we are David Boles with super follows. Facebook, Boles. Instagram is Boles Books. TikTok is Boles TV. And here's our Discord server with the Streamlabs bot, not the Boles bot. What can we do? We can only do a few things, and this is not one of them. This doesn't even look like the bot fired. Well, that's not good. What happened? Oh, the whole thing's falling apart just as I'm saying goodbye. Which is perfectly appropriate. Well, it's not working now. Did I turn the bot off? Is that what I did? I turned the bot off. Because you're supposed to turn it off for 10 minutes and then reset it. So the bot is now back on, but is it paying attention? Yeah, it's not paying attention. It's still Streamlabs instead of Boles bot. Well, that's how we end the show. We end as we begin. The circle has been closed. Everything has been defined and redefined. And we're delighted by it and happy for it. So until tomorrow, have a lovely. I'll see you then.